And we've noticed that a lot of the people, now we have thousands of listeners and a lot of people want to practice it. And if you get to that point where your faith is strong and you're ready for more and you don't get personal instruction, then it's very likely that your enthusiasm begins to wane and you get distracted. And we feel the need to respond to that, although we don't have it figured out yet. But we're trying.
We're working on it.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Live from Jodhpur, Rajasthan in India. This is Wisdom of the Sages, a daily spiritual podcast with your host, Raghunath, and co-host and senior educator at the Bhakti Center in New York, Kastubha Das. Welcome to the show. It's episode 1448. It's October 19th, and it's Q&A day, people. Q&A day is a day that we take questions from our audience, but today it's even more special. We take them from our live listener pilgrims. We're going to play Meet the Pilgrims today, and we're going to call people forward, and we're going to take their questions because they got questions too. And it's a nice way to get to know the pilgrims with us. How are you, Kastubha? All good in Rishikesh?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm north of Rishikesh now.
Oh, are you in Devaprayag or south of Devaprayag?
No, it's actually 30 kilometers south of Devaprayag where I'm staying. But I do plan on going up there. I got a little bit of a lag on you, Raghunath. I'm wondering if that was me, if others picked that up, and if so, maybe we should have people turn their pictures off today.
Yeah, or let's get some feedback from the audience. Who's got the lag? Who's lagging here? Is it me or Kastubha?
Did anyone hear a regular lag? Oh, then it might have been my download speed. Yeah. Okay. So
everyone is fine, Tracy says. All right.
All right,
great. Miss Mara, do you have some announcements before we dive?
I do. Wisdom of the Sages is hosting the second annual spiritual retreat in the sacred city of Mayapur. Woo. Birthplace of ecstatic kirtan. Some of the highlights will include excursions to powerful holy places, including Lord Chaitanya's birthplace, Srivas Thakur's house, where the loving ecstasy of kirtan overflowed. And we'll have Ganga Sunset
description of that now. I like that.
Thank you, Linda.
Your copywriter there. Linda.
Yeah, thank you, Linda. Email wisdom of the sages 108
People are still not going to know what in the world that means. What happened?
Or
loving ecstasy overflowed. Sounds like
in what sense?
Go to wisdomofthesages.com to sign up or for more info. Also tomorrow, our show will be at 7 a.m. Eastern time with Kastubha is interviewing Eddie Stern.
Oh, that's right. So that's a special early Sunday, 1 hour early. But the regular time otherwise. Right.
Yeah, and it's this. Okay, we're going to start with questions, and we have your favorite Alaskan. Favorite Alaskan and mine, Carly Wade. Come on,
I only know 2 Alaskans, or 3.
Yeah, we know 2 Alaskans. No.
And Carly's like one of them.
Oh. Number 3. All right, where are you, Carly? There you are. Get your little face in the. Hi, Carly. How are you?
Hi, I'm so good.
You've been on the show live to talk before, haven't you? Quickly, just share a little bit about your story, your bhakti path, and how you're doing.
Yeah, it's all thanks to Wisdom of the Sages. I was a yoga teacher, so I had kind of some experience with Eastern spirituality and kirtan with yoga. But it was really through Wisdom of the Sages that I came to a bhakti specific path. And
How did you hear about Wisdom of the Sages?
That is her brother.
Oh, your brother listened to Joe Rogan or something?
Exactly. Yeah, my brother heard you on Joe Rogan and tried to get me to listen. And I was just like, oh, another podcast. Everybody's got a podcast for you to listen to. And he just like kind of kept going. And so one day I listened to it. And then I always make this joke, like one day I finally listened to the podcast and now I'm in India with you for the 3rd time in like the last, little over a year. And my life is entirely changed. So.
And I want to say about Carly is we're dealing with pure devotional service over here. She is like 100% fixed on Krishna is my Lord. How can I serve him? How can I serve the devotees? It's such a pleasure. You know, sometimes people make it really difficult to bring on pilgrimage. They're fighting everything. Carly's making it easy. She's pulling so many people along with her spirit and great attitude and the desire to serve. It's really an honor to have you, Carly. All these trips we go on, and I'm witnessing your blossoming and your growth in bhakti. It's quite beautiful. And then you found some other devotees you're from Anchorage, right?
Anchorage area. Yeah, basically like 40 minutes north of Anchorage, but
Is there a temple?
no temple. And a couple devotees that I know of. If you're in Alaska and you're listening to this, like hit me up. I've been surprised before because I didn't know there's any devotees there. And Kasubu was like, yeah, Maharaj is coming and having when
Bhakti Marg Swami.
breakfast. Yeah, Bhakti Marg Swami. Thank you. With some devotees in Anchorage. And I was like, devotees in Anchorage? Like, where did this come from? And now, actually, this is a great segue to my question because the devotee in Anchorage is Sudevi, and we lead a sage group together. This is our third round, and this comes from our sage group. So I'm just kind of the voice from the sage group to bring this question to you guys. It's something that's come up a few times, and we were like, let's write a question. I said, wait, because then I can articulate it in person and we can when I'm in India. So hopefully I can do it justice to get for them to get the answers they need. So so the question is for devotees who are living away from a temple community, but are serious about their practice, they're ready to take their practice to the next step. Just very, very practically, like the logistics of finding somebody who can give them instruction, finding somebody who can tell them how to do their sadhana, how they should be moving forward on the path. So kind of one part of that, like a shiksha part of that. How can somebody find instruction when they're not in a regular temple community? And then maybe even bridging into maybe they're starting to think about taking diksha, about initiation. What would be the path for them? Do they need to just move to a temple? Can they start to, reach out to certain people? What would be your recommendations for those devotees? Thank you.
We're here for
let's
you.
just give them Raghunath's phone number.
Yeah. it's like actually it's everything we're doing is we're here for you. We're here to serve you. It's the glory of the information age. Usually the information is the big distraction. It's overwhelming. It gives us body dysmorphia. It gets us addicted to scrolling. But actually you can extract like an archaeologist, like the real value of the information age when you have something like Bhakti. And you can, I have so many great lectures downloaded on my phone and classes and Chaitanya Bhagavat, Chaitanya Charitamrita. It's so wonderful with this little phone that can also cause so much havoc. And isn't that the way the world works? Is the same activities you do in the material way, if you do the same activities in a spiritual way, they can liberate you or they can bond you. That was our verse today. That was our Bhagavad Gita. All work must be done for Vishnu, or else work causes bondage in this material world. So in the same way, all this information out there can cause bondage or it can liberate you. So whether people like it or not, me and Kaustubha are sort of giving instructions. We're sort of like in instructional teachers in your life. And it's one of those things that you either get attracted to me, Kaustubha, or both, or you stop listening to the podcast. And then we've set up these things, the sage groups, which you get community. And you get friends and you get elders, perhaps, or you get peers that are struggling maybe with the same thing you're struggling with. Then you can switch sage groups every so many months. So that is like also like a wonderful option. And then because you're away from the temple, you may not get someone who is right in front of your face giving you advice, but you might resonate with someone through these sage groups that like, oh, I like that. I like the way this person, you can meet people online and they can give you instructions thousands of miles away. It's nice to have people right there, but if you're living in a very isolated place, it's not impossible thanks to the information age. And sometimes you get a lot stronger when there's not like a community around. It forces you to say, you know what, if I'm going to be a devotee, I have to step into this and the whole material energy and my community or my environment or my city or my culture is working against me, but this is what I'm going to choose. And I find that in my own life, because I was sort of isolated upstate New York. It wasn't a huge community like New York City or Los Angeles, but it helped me just say, you know what, if I want this, I'm going to have to go for it, create my own programs, go do my own outreach. And it's a great sign for you to sort of like make devotees up there. It's not like you're not empowered. If you want to get empowered to do that, you can do it. Start a regular thing. As far as a Diksha guru, an initiating guru, that I would say, let Kostuba answer too, but I would say you got to hear from people that you have faith in, and then that person connects you with the lineage. But truthfully, it's whoever actually really resonates with your heart is going to give you the main instructions in your life. Some people have never met Prabhupada, yet Prabhupada's their initiating guru, and they listen to Prabhupada lectures and read their books or hear from some of his disciples that they look up to. So I think it's through hearing that we become liberated. And so that comes from a process of maybe someone that you really love says, well, this person I really like, or this person I recommend, or, but ultimately it's an individual fit. It's like a shoe size, sort of. Maybe a bad analogy. Foot, guru, I don't know. Kostuba, what do you think?
I appreciate everything that you said, and yet I think, well, because here's the deal, and this is something that we're focusing on now, because we do recognize that it's one thing to hear a podcast, and it's another thing to get direct instruction on the path, which our path calls for. You just have to open up the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu or the Nectar Devotion. You're going to read Rupa Goswami explaining that, Guru Padashaya, you have to take shelter of a guru, and then you receive Diksha and you receive Shiksha from them. So when Raghunath and I started practicing Bhakti, which was like 37 years ago, it was a little bit of a different scene. Pretty much if you got into it, and we've spoken about this before, but you moved into an ashram. At first you get a little sadhu sangha. At first you get a little shraddha, a little faith. And then there'd be some sadhu sangha. There'd be you begin to associate with people that are practicing. And then you'd get to the point where your faith got to the level where you're like, this is it, I'm in. This is what I want to do with my life. And almost everyone back then, it was almost mostly young people, for the most part. And for the most part, they would move into an ashram at that point. And when you moved into an ashram, you had gurus coming through there, like initiating gurus coming through there and inspiring you. And you would, before long, you would have your Diksha guru and you'd be initiated. And like when Raghunath was initiated, he was his guru's first disciple. Like he was the first one. He had him all to himself. And my guru had hundreds of disciples, but not like thousands, like is the case now 30 some years later. So we got direct instruction. People told us, they were there to tell us when to wake up and when to go to sleep, and what books to read and what books not to read, and what your seva would be. They would talk to us, figure out what we're good at, where our enthusiasm is at, and on so many levels we got that instruction. And that instruction, with that instruction, our spiritual lives just took off, and we've noticed that a lot of the people, now we have thousands of listeners, and a lot of people want to practice it. And if you get to that point where your faith is strong and you're ready for more, and you don't get personal instruction, then it's very likely that your enthusiasm begins to wane and you get distracted. And we feel the need to respond to that, although we don't have it figured out yet. But we're trying.
We're working on it.
Yeah, we are working on it. And I do think that the Sage Group leaders can have a lot to do with that. I think I have to have a lot to do with that, and Raghunath has to have a lot to do with that. And let me throw this out there. If you feel like I need that kind of instruction, and you feel like there's a person that you have faith in that can give to you, ask them. Start right there. Don't be shy. Come right out and say it. Ask them, right? And we'll do the best that we can to try to respond to the need. You know, we're now for someone to respond to that need, they're not going to be able to respond to the 10,000 people that download this podcast daily. They're going to respond to the people that are saying, I'm very serious about this. I'm very committed. I'm committed to you as a teacher, and I'm committed to following this seriously. When we got into it, to get that kind of instruction, you had to be ready to chant 16 rounds a day. That's like 2 hours of meditation. You had to be ready to, follow all kinds of regulations. I think we're also recognizing that there's a lot of people that are very serious now, but they have jobs, they have families, and it may be difficult for them to come to that level that's required in our ISKCON lineage for Harinam Diksha. But we also feel it's important that it doesn't mean that they can't get that shiksha, and they can't have a really genuine guru-disciple connection with a person. So we're trying to, that's kind of thing, Raghunath says 2.0 sometimes, I think we need to say, okay, we're ready to, we recognize, I've heard from quite a few people, and I've been blown away by how dedicated they are. Am I logging out?
It's okay. It's okay now.
Okay.
It was a little laggy.
Okay. But it's blowing my mind how many of our listeners are really very dedicated under circumstances that make it difficult. They may live in a family, have a husband or wife that doesn't practice, have kids that they need to take care of, have a job on top of it, and they're still doing all they can to chant 16 rounds regularly and do all kinds of service and study and practice with great sincerity. So we need to step up, and you all need to say, hey, you're inspiring me. I need to practice this. Would you instruct me? And that's, if you don't ask, you're never going to get it. So I'm throwing that out there too. Somehow we have to solve this issue, and I think Wisdom of the Sages is the perfect community to figure this out. So let's try to do it together.
I also, another point about being a disciple or a student, however you want to word it, is it's not like you're hiring a free therapist.
Good point.
You might need a therapist, but oftentimes we need spiritual instruction. We will get in for it. We will have questions. We will hit a fork in the road. But our idea also is that we want to offer something to serve the. If we really like, I'm attached to my guru. I get inspired by this person. What can I offer he or her? What can I offer them? Instead, I'm just constantly draining, and we don't want to be a burden to the guru. That's another important idea of discipleship. It's not like just like every little petty thing that's going on in my life, I'm going to dump on my guru's lap. We should think our guru's on a mission. Because of his or her mission, my heart's been opened up. My heart's been touched. How can I pay that forward? I can't pay them back, but how can I pay it forward? And we should think like that as well. And of course, naturally, you'll get the good advice you want, you'll get the instruction you want, etc. But it's like a two-way street with teacher and students. And sometimes people think, well, now I've got a life coach. No, it's not like that. It shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be a burden.
That's a real important point. It's not that you can't come. You do need to share your struggles, but it's not like I'm getting a free therapist or something like that. Really, what a genuine Gaudiya Vaishnava guru is going to say is, what I teach. It's just like you don't go to a violin teacher to get a therapist. You don't go there to learn how to play the violin. Did I lag out?
You lagged out. It sounded like you said you don't go to a violin teacher to learn how to play the violin.
No.
Seems like you
That's
would.
what it sounded like because of the lag. No, I'm saying you don't go to a violin teacher to get a therapist. You go there to learn how to play violin. And you go to a Vaishnava guru to learn how to practice Krishna Bhakti. And that's what
Mm.
they teach. And it does have the potential to solve all your problems. But at the same time, we're not going to approach it from a psychological angle or something like that. We're going to approach it like, I'm here to instruct you how to do this practice. That involves hearing from the sacred text. It involves chanting the holy names. It involves certain regulations in your life. It involves, finding a certain sangha. And we know the practice. That's how the practice is laid out in the ancient texts. And the idea is somehow we're going to make that tailor-made for your situation. That's what you're going to get from an instructing guru, right? Let's tailor this process to your specific circumstance and your specific psychology and your specific talents and interests. Let's get you practicing this in an authentic way, and that's what the guru is there to do. And there's so much involved in that, but let's be clear about what it's about. That's what it's about.
Thank you.
That's what a guru offers.
Thank you, Lagwagon. You're lagging a
Right.
little, but it's okay.
Doing my best. Sorry.
Okay.
Up in the
Was that good?
mountains.
Did that help? Thanks. Are you enjoying the pilgrimage?
I'm so taken care of here by you, Raghu, and your whole team.
Yeah.
It's just like it's the most ecstatic experience to just be so held and cared for, and also kind of such a crazy place as being in India. And yeah, it's incredible. I'm so happy to be here to serve here.
Thanks. Thanks. And it's only day, and we're only on day 2. Thank you very much.
I'm not sure if you're even aware, Raghu. Maybe you are, but
What?
Carly, she's behind the scenes. She's really helping with the Sage Academy, and she's like a program.
Oh, I'm aware. She's
manager,
she's in it. She's offering. She's doing that. She's rendering service. She's paying it forward. It's beautiful.
And hopefully that's going to do a lot to help answer her own question. In other words, that through the Sage groups, through the Sage Academy, and through this other thing that we're developing, Sage Care, that will really be able to provide. That's one of the biggest needs is I need personal instruction. And Sage Care, we're going to develop a whole department that's just going to try to help figure these kind of things out.
Okay. Next up, we have one of your favorite Vaishnavas of mine, Katie Wyckoff. Come on down. Katie Wyckoff it's Wyckoff or Wyckoff?
Wow.
Wyckoff. I actually like it when you say Wyckoff.
Okay, I'll call you.
Now it's bold.
I'll say
gotta hand her the
Wyckoff
mic.
because I got
Katie now.
Katie Bolts. Okay. Okay. Well, Katie, it's great to have you on the show. Katie was a classic Wisdom of Sages devotee because she heard Joe Rogan when I was on, and then she listened to Wisdom of the Sages every day since then. Then she signed up for Jagannath Puri pilgrimage, came to pilgrimage, saw the deity of Toda Gopinath, broke into tears. And, she's just like a wonderful example of spiritual enthusiasm. And she's just,
Look at no.
I ran into her in the street today and she was, I kid you not, in her gopi skirt, jumping up and down with her Vans on, just going, right, just found this incredible Krishna temple. You've got to see it. Like jumping like a child up and down. And it was so happy to see her enthusiasm for Krishna consciousness. And we love you. We love your enthusiasm. And she's very serious about bhakti. And you want to share anything about your spiritual journey?
I don't know how deep you want me to go, because it goes.
It goes very deep, but we can keep it about how are you enjoying the pilgrimage? Let's keep it like there right now.
Oh my gosh, it is like when they say devotees are like desire trees, devotees are literally like desire trees. Also, I just want to appreciate Carly, Kastuva, and you, Raghu, for that question just now, because that really just like welled my heart like a whole lot, and like it really resonated. But yeah, it is honestly like, I kid you not, like for instance, what I wanted to do for Kartik was chant 1 round a day, and now I'm chanting more than 16 a day. I didn't even know. I was like, oh well, and so because like how you said, like in the life and stuff like that, you go in your waves where you're really, 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 really into it, or not into it, but then like life happens and then you kind of fall back and then you're really, really back into it. And in regards to like the chanting and all the like regulations or not regulations, but you know what I mean. And so But yeah, and then same thing as like now we have like such a beautiful altar in here, and like I wanted to do Mangala every day, and I didn't know if I'd have the opportunity, and now we get to do Mangala. So it's like literally like all desires when you're like trying to serve. Like it's mind blowing. Honestly, I don't. I'm at a loss for words.
She's lost her material mind, as you can see. That'll happen if you chant more than 16 rounds a day. So, and how old are you, by the way?
20. How old am I? I'm 25.
Okay, 25 years old. And okay, so I want you to hold the mic and talk right into the mic. What's your question today?
My question is about austerity and like trying to keep a mindfulness during austerity. Like we're going to be going on to Govardhan Hill, and we're going to be doing the parikram, and when you do the parikram it's going to be barefoot. And a lot of us, like especially if you don't normally are used to walking barefoot, physically it's not going to like some people, like physically it's going to be a bit of a challenge in a sense, like from the heat, from everything, which is amazing though, because it's all like like for like and for devotion and such like that, like it's a good austerity to take on. But like how do you prepare your mind, and how do you stay focused on that prayer and not just think, oh my body, oh this, oh that, like all these like maybe frictions that might come up, that are superficial, but then like how do you go deep, and how do you really get that experience out of it, of like getting to like, oh my gosh, Giri Raj, and oh my gosh, like Krishna, and just like I don't know, keeping that mindset of like not letting other fluctuate, because even in like real life and stuff like that, like fluctuations come up, and it's really easy to like focus on like, oh this doesn't feel good, or oh I don't like this, or oh my job is boring, or oh whatever. And like how do you stay focused on like the main thing?
She's great, isn't she?
Yeah.
You want to go first? You want me to go first?
As you like, Regan. You tell me what to do.
All right, I'll go first. And we tend to give completely different answers of the same question. So I'm going to try this from the angle of, suppose I was to meet, suppose I go visit my mom, and the first thing I say is, "Oh, Mom, I miss you so much. Can I borrow $10? Actually, I need $5 for this, and I got a flat in my tire, and that's going to cost this much to return." Our mood when we approach the Holy Dom, if we really want to understand it, is not to ask from the Dom what I want from it in a material sense. And sometimes we treat the Dom almost like we're sightseeing. And I want to go here, and I want to go there, I want to go here, I want to go there. And the mood should be, what can I offer when I come? What can be my service be? And walking around Govardhan Hill is just that. It's actually a service, because what are you doing the entire time? You're thinking about Krishna. You're thinking about Govardhan. You're thinking about the Leela of Govardhan. And it's got some physical austerity for sure. But if my mood is, I'm here to serve, and how do you serve? You meditate on, you sing, you circumambulate. Sometimes we like to take sweets and offer them. I like to take sweets, offer them to the hill, and then distribute the sweets to all the pilgrims that come by. Sometimes there's a nice place where you can buy bananas and give them out to the monkey seva. You can buy some grass from the old ladies and give them out to the cows seva. So there's different ways, but the idea is we're going there, and that in itself, walking around, is a type of service you can do at Govardhan Hill. And it's nice when you can do it and not get too many physical austerities, but sometimes it's hard, especially if you're not used to walking. But I will say that lately, in my older age, my feet have been killing me, and it's like too hard for me to do it. And I wear sneakers. And you know what? I do it in a better consciousness, or else I'm just going to share my personal thing. And sometimes you will get a sadhu looking at you and pointing to your shoes and going, no, 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 like that. But I know for myself, I'd rather just walk around Govardhan where I'm not like, slicing open my foot and stepping on a piece of glass, or having so much pain in my feet because my feet are screwed up from years of jujitsu, that I'd rather just walk around so I can meditate peacefully instead of having it's like fasting on Ekadasi. If you're fasting on Ekadasi, but all you can think of is food, and then you get a headache from fasting, better just eat a little bit and keep the main thing. That's what I would say. Also, nowadays, they have this little cheat at Govardhan Hill. Does anyone know what I'm talking about, Kostuba? The slippers. It's a cheat.
Oh yeah, everybody wears their slippers now. Yeah,
everybody wears slippers at Govardhan Hill now. It's like, oh, these are my Parikram slippers. It's like, What do you mean paricrum slippers? The whole idea is to get the dust of Govardhan on your feet. Anyway,
No, I think it's
one
just
of
to respect it by not bringing your shoes all over it, right?
but then they wear those slippers everywhere. At least that's what I've seen.
Well, then
And it's like, what's the
that's
difference
we
at that
better
point? What's the difference
that
at that point? Anyway,
well, I suppose there
that's
is
just
no
what I have to
difference.
say about Govardhan and about the Dom is you go to the Dom with the Dom guru, and the Dom guru shows you how to behave, how to think, how to like these questions. These are good questions to be brought up. And so that way you get to enter the Dom in a sweet way, in a way that gets you actually closer to enter into Vrindavan instead of looking at the honey jar from the outside and trying to speculate about what honey is. That's what I would say. Kostuba, what would you say?
I would totally disagree with that. I would say,
Okay.
no, I'm just kidding. No, but one thing I did not disagree with, but I would just share in a sense, the opposite view
Okay.
is in one sense, I totally appreciate what you're saying. You want to go there and you want to offer something to the Dom. You want to serve the Dom. One way to serve the Dom is you serve the devotees there. One way to serve the Dom is you serve the cows there, even the monkeys, right? My little monkey seva, maybe a little monkey seva this
Monkey
time around.
Seva.
Banana
Go
monkey seva.
Seva. Bijbasi
And
Seva.
Brijbasi seva. So that's there. But also we go there as a beggar because we're begging for pure devotion. You know, that not nothing but that. We go there to beg nothing but that. But we beg like a destitute beggar. That's there too. But there's what Raghu shared, I think, was so right on about our path is not we're not exactly tapasvis. We don't see our path as like, let's get as austere as possible and and transcend that way. Our path is let's open up our heart to Radha and Krishna as much as possible and transcend that way. Open up our mind, open up our hearts to Radha and Krishna, surrender to them, to beg for that love for them. Hear of their leelas, and be transformed by them. Now, austerity, it can play a role in that. And for some people, it's going to play a stronger role. And for some people, it's going to play a lesser role, right? If you're a brahmachari, it should play more role. If you're a brahmana, there's going to be some more of that. But it's good for everyone. It's just a question of how much of it is going to be good. And it's kind of like Raghunath was saying, a Dham guru or a Shiksha guru, they're going to kind of turn that dial so that you're getting enough austerity that it's helping you transcend the body and mind, but not so much that it drags you deeper into the body and mind, right? So that all you can think about is your body and your mind. So there's a fine tuning to that. And I think Raghunath's responding to that by saying, hey, if you need to wear some cheating slippers as you're going around, then we're going to provide that for you.
We call them sneaky slippers.
They're cute, right? They got their little booties or something, right? That they, yeah. So Raghunath uses a phrase a lot that I think is real helpful. He says what do you call it, Raghunath? Transcend. You don't say transcend, but you say something the material mind, or it makes no material sense. That's what you say. It makes no material sense. So there is a kind of groove that you can get into in your bhakti practice, wherein you're being a bit austere, you're pushing the envelope, you're being more austere than you have in the past, and you're actually loving it. You're actually, you're not even noticing it anymore because you've transcended the mind and you're tasting something in bhakti that's fresh and enlivening, and you're looking back and saying, this is totally austere, but I'm loving it. That's a beautiful place to reach for. But if you reach too far, then you may not quite make it. It's something that you might have to do gradually. And again, it's not our goal to be austere. So even some devotees, when they get older, they become less austere, but their devotion is actually stronger than ever before. So let's I think with Raghunath there, he's a good guide for you, and we can set that right for you, just where you can push the edge, but not too much. How's that?
Very well. Looking forward to it. Giriraj Maharaj ki jai.
I'm seeing these devotees. I'm saying their sincerity is like
Oh,
I
these
wish
guys.
I had
mean,
it.
we got such a team here on pilgrimage. Wait till you meet them in Rishikesh. They're going to
Yeah.
blow your mind. Who's
All right.
next? Gandharvika Girihari.
Oh, here's another one. You know,
There's
she's
another
probably just
one.
gonna start
It's like,
crying
I don't
tears
know
of
where we get
devotional
these.
ecstasy before.
I don't know where the students are more advanced than the teachers. I can't figure this one out. And she's got Brian at home, who we miss Brian a lot too, her husband.
Great
And
guy.
he's a great soul too. We had Brian on pilgrimage last time, and he's just wonderful. You guys are one of those beautiful couples. And want to talk about what we did last night at Radha Krishna Temple?
Yeah, last night we went to this amazing temple, and the people there and the pujari there was so welcoming, and invited Raghunath to offer kirtan to the lords there. The lords there are so beautiful, so reciprocating with everyone, and it was just the most ecstatic kirtan. And Brajasundari
Really?
Radha offered a beautiful kirtan. So many amazing kirtaniyas just offered their hearts to the Lord. It was amazing.
I saw a video of her singing. That was rocking
It was
it.
incredible.
Yeah. She's very good, Brajasundari Radha. She's, I will say we got some great kirtan people. You know who really surprised me? I wasn't expecting. Lori Pag can hold down the fort with the kirtan.
Okay, all
I'm
right.
quite impressed. But we have some really great kirtan people. And this year, I've just decided we're going to bring them up. We're bringing them up in the ranks, and they're going to start to show their stuff and fan their peacock feathers. And yeah, we just stormed this temple yesterday. They were about to close the curtain. They kept it open. Local people showed up, and it just became like a big party.
You know, North India, Rajasthan, Vrindavan, obviously.
God.
There's a mood, I've been in sometimes I spend time in other places in India, and it's kind of like they look at a Western bhakta, and they just kind of, what are you doing here, guy? It's like,
Yeah,
what's
it's like-
going on?
Or it's more like sort of like, yeah, welcome to our thing. You can stay outside while
In
we
the
do
back.
our thing inside, and then we'll
Sometimes they
come
don't let
outside
you
and
into the
can-
temple
and you can look at our temple from the outside.
from the outside.
From the northern India, it's like, it's just
Come-
so wonderful.
They're thrilled when they see Western people enthusiastic for it, and it just becomes a huge party.
And tomorrow we're going to Udaipur, where Jagdish Mandir is, and that is just
Jagdish.
so next. It's just so next level. And I tell you, with this group we have here, we can't even get down the street with having rip roaring kirtans in the bus. It's just like they never stop. It's just kirtan after kirtan after kirtan, and then tomorrow we have a 6-hour drive on the bus. And you know what? It's gonna go by like that, Kastuba.
Because you'll be doing kirtan the whole way.
Because we're gonna be doing
And
kirtan,
and it's not going to make any
Harikatha.
material sense. It'll
It's
be
not
like
gonna make any sense.
in
No
one
one's
sense,
gonna want to sleep.
a 6-hour bus ride in India is supposed to be austere, but it's not going to be. You're going to transcend it.
It's not austere. It's not austere. Okay.
Got a
What
question?
is your question, my friends?
Hare Krishna. I feel sort of embarrassed. This is going to sound really pretentious, but I just I just want tips. I've sort of, I love reading Shastra, and I like memorizing shlokas, and I want to dive more into it. And I've been sort of encouraged by my guru, to, give class, and it's sort of like a thing to how you learn something is by sharing it and teaching it. But just, I don't know, I guess, I don't know, some scars from school or something, like learning and studying. So I just, any tips how to put together a class, and not like, oh, I'm going to give a class, but just in a way, how do you put things together in your own voice rather than just parroting, people that are way more qualified? And obviously we should reference the acharyas, but how do you present something in an authentic way? Sometimes I guess I feel, for me, when I read these books, it's so easy for me to just accept them because I love this philosophy. And but when I go to when I try to share or explain things, it's sort of revealed to me, you know, what my limitations are, and really, I don't know, maybe my comprehension isn't what it could be. I don't know, just any tips, if you know how to put a class together for fun, not to, you know, oh, I'm going to give this class, but how, you know, how to, you know, from an authentic place. I hope that makes sense.
This makes really sense. You know what I always say to this one, Kostuba? It sounds like a fortune cookie. Mara, do you know what I always say? I say a lot. I prepare for. What did I say? I always prepare, and I never prepare. I always prepare. This is like a. No. Listen to it. I never prepare for class, and I always prepare for class. And this is what I mean. On my downtime, I read or I listen to lectures. So if someone says, Raghunath, I want you to give class right now, I just have so much stuff in my head that's going through my head that if you open your mouth, stuff's going to come out. Now, that being said, if I do actually prepare for class, you can expect the worst class ever, because I will just start. Now, me and Kostuba are different. He prepares things. But I'm just saying, this is how I do it. If I prepare for that class, it'll be so unflowing that it won't come out right. The best thing I can do to prepare was to like if there's a verse from the Bhagavad Gita or something, let's say, I'd write maybe 3 bullet points and a story that would back up that point I'm trying to make. 3 bullet points, and then I just riff off those bullet points. So my note card would have, like, you know, maybe the verse, 3 words, a Krishna Leela story, and that would be it. That's how I would do it. And before I give class, I always do an Om Gyana Tamarandasya, because what's going to happen if you're doing it right is you're not going to even be speaking anymore. But the spiritual potency, the source will be speaking through your body, and you'll be speaking. You may not even know what the next word coming out of your mouth will be. Krishna will put those words in because he's using you as a vehicle. So I say downtime, always study, and always read, always hear. And then when it's time to study, and then when it's time to give a class, then you just speak. And if it makes it easier, if you're new to it, just jot down little points that you want to touch on. That's my method. May not be the highest method, works for me. Kostuba, how do you do it?
You say that. You said that. I'm not sure how
No,
to
I say it
interpret
because I know you really prepare for things. I
Well,
appreciate that too.
in one sense, you prepare your whole life. Like, a lot of times when if I'm going to go speak in front of, like, sometimes I'm asked to speak in front of a large audience that I've never spoken in front of before. I don't have to prepare anything because I've done it so many times, you know? Whereas when it comes to doing the show, I like to prepare. I like to at least have an idea of where we're going, and maybe
Well, what about for a
something.
Bhagavad Gita class? She's asked to give a Bhagavad Gita class.
If I had to give a Bhagavad Gita class, I probably wouldn't need to prepare, right? Unless I was giving a Bhagavad Gita class every week to the same group, then I would start to prepare.
All right,
You
what
know,
should
like,
she do? What should she do for
so,
a
yeah.
Bhagavad Gita class?
Well, let's back up for 1 second. You said something, Raghunath, that I thought was really important. You see, yeah, Raghunath and I.
What did I
this
say?
It'll come. I'll get there in a second. Raghunath and I have been doing this for like 37 years, in one sense, right? Like, I was going out and selling books, but it required a lot of reading and a lot of studying and a lot of sharing. And we were kind of forced to also give, like, classes to each other, the brahmachari, the monks, the student monks. So that was nice. That was good preparation, good training. And Raghunath would like he had this band and he was like going around and he was also like kind of forced to present it and always fine tuning it. This is our joy. This is our life. You know, this is other people might not have taste for it. This is what we like to do is read about these things and discuss these things and hone our skills at it and so on. And I think you've got that in you too, you know? And when you do, then all of it is a joy. Studying is a joy, preparing is a joy, speaking is a joy, answering questions is a joy. Consulting with other people that do the same thing. You understand each other. You really understand each other. And like what you just said, Raghunath, was like like for instance, sometimes like I give a talk and then someone else who does the same thing, like who someone like Raghunath might say, hey, I think you gave a great talk, and I'll be like, no, I missed it. You know, I was at like 60% there. I wasn't where I wanted to be at. You know, and sometimes you feel like you're just flowing, and that's a beautiful feeling. But in success or failure, we're just offering what the best that we can. You know, that's the Bhagavad Gita's formula, right? Like you surrender, you offer your best, and you're not attached to the results. But sometimes, even when you think you completely blew it, you actually change someone's life, and you find out like, really? Like that class, they got into that? You know, sometimes people tell me like, oh, I heard this episode and it was like I'm like, really? I felt like we were totally off, and it's like somehow it touched someone. What Raghunath was saying was important. Always be preparing, always read, always listen to other people talk, hear how they present it. And you will have your own way to present things. But in the beginning, you're more dependent on parroting. And as you become both more skilled and more realized, then it becomes more and more your own voice. And the more it becomes your own voice, this is the key, that you're presenting the same truth. That's what this parampara, this sampradaya is all about. It's one truth that's been handed down forever by people that love it and care about it and have no ego. I'm not a big shot. I'm not making this stuff up. I'm just a humble representative, like a mailman delivering a message. So there's that. And then the other side of it is that it has to be presented according to the people that are hearing it. So there needs to be some creativity that goes into that, some sensitivity that is making sense to them. And the more that's coming out in your own voice, with your own realizations, the greater effect it has. You know, the more that people feel, you know, respond to it or feel it. There's no substitute for experience and surrender and just going out there and in one sense looking at this as it's a life's offering. And I'm patient and I keep trying, and wherever I'm at, you know, I know that if I give myself to this sincerely, that I'll become better and better and better at it. Just almost like you can become better at anything else, but there's always a transcendental element to this bhakti yoga.
Some magic in there.
Yeah, it's because really what we're trying to do is it's not like a professor that's trying to learn a subject super well and then being able to go out there and present it. We're begging Krishna for the privilege to be his servant. We've turned our backs on his service for who knows how many lifetimes, and we're turning back and say, I'll be your mouthpiece in some little way if you allow me. I want nothing more than that. Can I speak for you? Will you allow me that privilege even though I don't deserve it? But what else am I going to do with my life if I'm not serving you? And then begging for that, and then ultimately we're waiting for Krishna's blessings. You know. So all that being said, I think originally you were looking for some practical tips, and and we can do that. You know, we can talk. Maybe this goes a little bit back to Carly saying, "Hey, if you want, talk to Raghunath, talk to me. We'll you know, you're a person. that we've seen how sincere and serious you are about this, and we can talk about it and see what it is that you've heard, who you've heard from, how that's resonated with you, and in ways that you would like to share it, and then we'll talk. There's people that I just kind of coach on this too. Like if I see a person's really serious about what we're doing and they want to do the same thing, we'll coach them. We'll say, hey, what are you up to? And then we may help them fine tune it a little bit. You know what? That's one way you can present it, but I think if you present it that way, people may respond like this, but maybe consider presenting it like this, and they go, oh, okay, I get it. And then it becomes more natural for them to begin to think that way. So
Sometimes there's a speaker.
you're on the team.
Sometimes there's a particular speaker you like the way they speak. And so you could really dive into their classes and then model your class after theirs, and eventually becomes your own. And then
Yeah.
certain people are, you like a person who's fun or joyous or tells lots of pastimes, or you like a person who's very deeply philosophical and you lean into that more. So there'll be different teachers that speak to you more, and you can sort of model your class like that. You got to figure out how you want to present. And the best way to get good at anything is to
Do it.
just do it every day. And so sometimes you can practice. Sometimes I'd practice giving a class, going for a walk and just talking to myself. This is how I'd present this. Another thing Kostuba and me had the privilege of was being, we were proselytizers of the Bhagavad Gita. We were ministers of the Bhagavad Gita. And when you put yourself out there in a public arena, you got to get ready for people that love you and people that want to challenge you on everything. And those rough waters make for good sailors, because you're debating people on a regular basis and trying to debate people where sometimes you can defeat a person in a debate, but they hate your guts afterwards because you've humiliated them. You don't want that. We're trying to actually sell them a better way. So even when you debate and try to defeat their arguments, you have to do it in such a way that lifts them higher and says, yeah, I see that. I want to be like that too. So this is important, to go out there and share this with people. And guess what? You've got a supportive husband. You've got a place where you live. All it takes is you to make a couple flyers, put them in your hometown, Bhagavad Gita class every Tuesday night. We sing, we have Bhagavad Gita discourse, and then you cook some prasad. It's that easy. And everybody listening to this program should think, how can I spread the holy name? I'm getting something valuable out of this. How can I pay that forward? And everybody could do that. I don't care if you have a 600 square foot apartment or you got a huge house. You can invite some friends over, family members over, strangers over, whatever it is, and just say, this is what we do here on Friday nights, on Saturday nights, on Wednesday nights for 2 hours. Make it a potluck, make it whatever it is, find a friend and build from that. And that, when you start giving classes, you start getting better at it. And when people start to challenge you, you either have to say, I don't have an answer for that. Let me think about that. You have to go back and think those things through, or maybe you'll be able to just slay their doubts very easily. And there's nothing more satisfying than a sincere, inquisitive person asking a question and you just slay their doubts with some wisdom that wasn't even yours in the first place. And they'll feel really indebted to you. People are suffering tremendously and they need your help. You're serious about this. You've gotten so much. Now you want to give back to your teacher and the whole parampara. And that's how we make advancement as well.
No. Just seeing
Waiting for your
turn.
on the bus tomorrow. Prepare for
We give a class.
I'm serious.
Dead
30
serious.
minutes. 30 minutes of
On
tomorrow.
any topic you want.
All right, she's on tomorrow for that bus ride. You got a microphone on that bus and everything. Thank you, Gandharvika. Haribo.
My heart's melting right now, Raghunath.
Everyone's very excited for that.
Literally, my heart's melting just seeing her. Emblem of sincerity and I
she's
just,
an
you know what?
emblem of
I just
sincerity.
looking at her, I just see, we've known her since the beginning when she first started coming around, and we could just see she's really becoming a really Paka Vaishnava, you know, just a really a true bhakti practitioner. It melts my heart.
Me too. And guess what, my friend?
That's it. Time's up.
It's time. It's time.
All
It's time
right.
to hit the road. Have a good interview tomorrow. I'm not going to see you. We're going to
Oh
be on the
yeah.
road.
Okay, Eddie
That should
Stern.
be good. And then we'll be back when, Mayor?
Whoa, what you got there, man? What are you guys listening to when you
Sorry,
out
it's
there
an
in
ad that
Jodhpur?
Came up. No. The next show will be Monday live from Udaipur.
Well,
What
next show
time?
you guys are.
7
Yeah, we'll be at 7 a.m.
So we're back on a
Okay.
regular program Monday at 7 a.m. Tomorrow, special interview day, also 7 a.m. Eastern Time, New York. And thanks, everybody, for joining us.
There we
Woo!
go.
Here's the crew.
Now, Rogo, is Mara on like a shopping? Is it just a big shopping spree for her? I need to know.
Shopping strip for who? For Miss Mara?
Mara.
No way.
Yeah, I know when she hits deli, you know.
Her name constantly taking the feedback out of her hands.
Your microphone's gone, Mike.
Every walk around in circles.
Rogo, your microphone's like went down or something.
Anyway, people.